So what is going on, my fellow collectors? How is everybody doing today? Daredevil19 here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Bandai Tamashii Nation's SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Z Tien. So let's get into it right away and start off with the box. So we do get a basic style box when it comes to the SH Figuarts DBZ line. We do get the window right there on the front of the box, and on the window in white does say SH Figuarts and TENSHINHAN. On the right side we do get some images of the figure. Then we do get the Toei animation sticker, warning blah 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 blah, Dragon Ball Z, Tamashii Nations, and Bandai. And then here is the bottom of the box, looking pretty cool there. I do like that image of the figure. And then here is the top of the box, not much going on, just another image of Tien there. And then here is the one side of the box, pretty plain looking, just like all the other boxes. And then the other side of the box does have some more images of the figure. And then the back of it does show a bunch of cool poses you can get the figure into, along with some of the accessories. But anyway, that is the packaging. Let's get this figure up and take a closer look at the guy who used to be an A-hole in Dragon Ball. Alrighty, taking a closer detailed look, and Tamashii Nations killed it with this Tien. This is definitely one of their best figures in the DBZ line of 2017. I think the face sculpts look great. They look just like Tien, and yes, the third eye on the forehead right there is sculpted on there, in case anybody was curious. But I think the faces look great from the sculpt to the paint. Very good job all throughout it on the ears and everything, and the bald head. Really not much going on there. The neck looks pretty good. The skin tone does match pretty much everywhere. I think on the head, the skin tone looks a little off compared to the rest of the body, but it's not horribly bad, you know what I mean? And one complaint I do have with this figure, we do get some nice shading on the pants, but there's no shading on the skin tone like the Nappa figure, and Tien's shirtless during this part in Dragon Ball Z, so why not add the shading and like the sculpted lines for the muscles? I don't understand why Tamashii Nations didn't do that, but they did sculpt and paint his scar, and it does continue on his right shoulder as well, and yes, it is sculpted up there also, and I dig the way the scar looks, but very nice sculpt all throughout the torso there. Nice sculpt work on the muscle definition, but like I said, some paint shading really would have made this figure look that much better on the skin tone. The collarbones look pretty cool too, so good job with the sculpt there. Then there's the back, very nice sculpt all throughout it. And then Tien does have pretty big arms compared to like Yamcha and some of the other DBZ characters, so they did get that right. Very nice sculpt all throughout it. The elbow joint is a little off color, but it's not horribly bad. Then we do get the wristbands here, and they did a good job with them. Nice clean paint all throughout them. I do have a speck of red paint on the green there. Really not that big of a deal though, but good job on the wristbands. Then we do get the sash here, and it is a separate piece, but it's very tight around the lower portion of the torso there. But very nice sculpt all throughout it. Would have loved some shading or some darker red paint added in there. I think it would have made it look much nicer, but very nice sculpt all throughout that, all the sculpted wrinkles. Then we do get some nice sculpted wrinkles all throughout the very baggy pants, and they did get the very baggy pants very well on this figure, so really like the way that turned out. And we do get nice shading all throughout it, like on the inside of the legs, around the knees, the lower legs, up around the crotch area. And then there is no shit stain shading there. There really isn't any shading on the back of the pants, but I mean, they could have done it, but it's not that big of a deal because you're really not going to have them posed backwards, I guess, most of the time. And I do like how they're adding the shading in between the legs there, because that's where shading would be, you know what I mean? But we do get some very nice sculpted wrinkles all throughout the pants, and I really dig the way that looks. Some people might not like the way the knee joints look, but they look much better compared to their previous design. And where the pants, the sculpt stops here, and then we do get this, it's not really like a sculpted piece. The color of the green blends in very well with the rest of the green, unlike the Goku figures, because the Goku figure, the newer ones, do have the shading on the pants, and then the shading just stops at that part, and then there's more up there, so it looks a little weird. On Tien, it looks really good. And then we do get his boots there, and then we do get the, I guess, I'm just going to call them leg warmers, because they were made in like the 80s. But very nice sculpt all throughout that. We do get like a few sculpted wrinkles on the yellow parts right there. And then we do get the shoes, or the Kung Fu shoes, whatever you want to call them, and they're just a basic black, as you can see. Nice sculpt on them, and then we do get some sculpted lines on the bottom. So overall, I think they knocked it out of the park with this Tien. I don't think they could have done any better of a job besides adding some paint shading on the skin tone. But other than that, they really did a superb job with this figure, and I can't be any more happy with how the detail turned out. But anyway, let's continue on. Moving on to the accessories, we get a decent amount of stuff included with our three-eyed friends. So we do get 4 interchangeable heads, faces. So we do get this one on the left that does come on the figure out of the packaging, which is the basic looking face, and I think they did a great job on all 4 interchangeable faces here. The sculpt and paint just look fantastic throughout all of them. Like I said before, all the eyes on the forehead, the third eye, they are all sculpted on each individual face. So we do get that one, and then we do get the Chaozu's about to die face. I believe that's what face this is, and they did a great job with it around the teeth, the eyes, eyebrows, and everything. We got a couple of veins on the top of the head there, so very good job with the paint and sculpt on this one. So we do get that, and then we do get like the smirking, smiling face here, which is one of my favorites out of all 4 of them, and they did a great job once again with the paint and sculpt. We do get a couple of veins sculpted on the top of the head as well, and then finally we get the yelling, screaming face, which is another one of my favorites, and beautiful paint and sculpt all throughout the face. And we do get the sculpted vein on the top of the head as well. And the other 3 faces that come in the packaging do have these. Usually they give these with all the bald characters like Nappa, Krillin, and now Tien. And I don't think Frieza had them though, but the way you interchange his heads is fairly simple. Just pop it right on the joint. When you want to take it off, just pop it off. Simple as that. So we do get those 4 interchangeable heads. And then we also get a statue-like Chaozu, and once again, it's very disappointing that they made these little side figures just like statues, like with the Cybermen that came with Yamcha. I find that very disappointing, and this Chaozu even has less articulation than the Cybermen. I know Tamashii Nations could have easily gave these figures articulation. I hate like these pre-posed figures. I find that just lazy, man. You know what I mean? I guess it's cool that they did include it. You can articulate his head. It is on like a barbell type joint, I believe, so you can just articulate that. The waist, you can slightly swivel, but I don't think it's meant to be articulated. But I mean, the figure turned out really good. The sculpt and paint look great on it, especially on the face. It looks just like Chaozu. He has a tear coming out his eye right there, but they did a good job with it. Like I said, I'm just disappointed that these little miniature figures that we got with Tien and Yamcha could have easily been articulated. You know what I mean? And then he does come with this clear piece. People are wondering how you're going to get Chaozu on the back of Nappa, and you just peg these on the back of Nappa's Saiyan armor on the top right there, and then snap it right on, and then Chaozu just fits in there perfectly, and then you could tilt his head like he's about to explode and waste his life, because Nappa didn't die anyway. Whoops, that was a spoiler, even though Dragon Ball Z is probably almost 40 years old, but that's how you get that on there. Pretty simple to do it. A lot of people thought it was going to be there's a magnet in the back of Nappa and Chaozu, but that's not what the case is. So we do get the Chaozu, and then we finally get 9 interchangeable hands. So we do get a pair of fists, of course, which come on the figure out of the packaging, and nice sculpt all throughout these. There is no shading or anything like that, and I believe these are the same ones that we get with Goku and like Yamcha and stuff. And his hands, they're easy to peg on, but the only issue is whenever you're trying to peg them on, the hinge keeps moving back and forth, so it does become a pain in the ass to get the hands on the peg there, since that keeps hinging back and forth. So we do get a pair of fists, and then we do get a pair of like these gripping type hands, and they did a good job with the sculpt all throughout these. You see the fingernails sculpted on there and everything, so we do get a pair of those. And then we do get a pair of open palm blast hands, same ones that we get with like Goku and stuff, and nice sculpt on the fingers, like you see the lines sculpted on the knuckles and the fingernails sculpted on there, and nice sculpt on the palm of the hand as well. And then finally we get the tri-beam hands, and I thought these were molded together, but they're actually not. As you can see, we do have like little indents on the top of the finger, then we do have like tiny little pegs on the fingers on this side, so all you do is just peg them onto Tien and then just line up his hands, and they just fit right into the groove, so you could have him using his tri-beam. And this is definitely how I'm going to have my Tien pose, and very nice sculpt all throughout these hands here. So we do get those, and then finally we get this right hand, and I don't know what the name of this move is called, but I believe this is the move that he does when he tries to kill Nappa after Chaozu sacrificed himself. But very nice sculpt all throughout this here. But anyway, that is all the accessories included with Tien. let's keep moving on with the rest of the review, shall we? Now for the height of Tien. To the top of his bald head, it looks like he's just shy of 6 inches tall. And then here he is compared to the SH Figuarts Super Saiyan God Goku, Krillin, Yamcha, and the San Diego Comic-Con Piccolo. And then here he is compared to a bunch of the other SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Z figures. And then here he is compared to the SH Figuarts Awakened Warrior Super Saiyan Goku and the Mezco 112 Deadpool. Anyway, there's some quick comparisons. Let's keep moving on with the rest of the review. So now for the articulation, and this is a point where the figure really excels. Tamashii Nations did an excellent job working in the movement with the Tien, so we do get 2 points at the neck. So with the upper neck joint, you could get Tien to look up about that much, which is pretty good, and he does pretty much look all the way down, so nice movement there. We do get some nice pivot at the upper neck joint, and then it does swivel. The lower neck joint does go forward a tiny bit, and it does go back just slightly, and he can look all the way down with both joints, and both joints looking up. He looks up decently. Then we do get a tiny bit of pivot at the lower neck, and then it also swivels, so good movement at both the neck joints. Then we do get a point of articulation at the torso, right around the abdomen there, and Tien can crunch forward about that much with that joint. It does go back pretty good. We do get very nice pivot there, as you can see, and then it also swivels. And then the waist here does go forward and back a really good amount. So with both joints he goes forward that much, and with both joints he goes back that much. And then does it pivot at the waist? It does slightly. Yeah, there you go. You do get a little bit of a pivot at the waist, and then of course it does swivel there. Now for the arms, we get some excellent movement here at the shoulders. We do have a nice circular motion right at the shoulder joint there, and then we do have a butterfly joint that does go out pretty far, so you can get his arms to pretty much crisscross, which is how the Yamcha should have been, but the Yamcha did not turn out like that. And then the arms do go out to the sides about 90 degrees. They do go up and down. We do have the bicep swivel. We have double jointed elbows that only bend in about 90 degrees, and we do have a ball hinge on the wrist, so it does swivel and hinges back and forth. Now for the legs here, Tien can kick forward a little more than 90 degrees, so that is good. Goes back 90 degrees, so that's good. Then kicks out to the sides. Let's see. His legs do go out to the sides a little more than 45 degrees, so that is definitely good. Not 90, but still almost at 90. Then we do get the upper thigh swivel up there. Then we have double jointed knees that bend back about 90 degrees. And then there is no swivel around the leg warmers here, but we do get the swivel at the ankle. And then the ankle joints do hinge up a tiny bit. They hinge down really good though. And then we do get, that's another little minor issue when you use the ankle pivot. Sometimes the foot pops out, but he does have very nice ankle pivot, unlike the Yamcha figure. Yamcha's ankle pivot his ankle movement was just horrible, but Tien does have really good ankle articulation. Then we do have a nice toe hinge there. So overall, I think Tien, they worked in the articulation really well on this figure, and you're going to be able to get him in some good three-eyed human-like poses, and I'm about to show you some of them right about now. But anyway, that is my review of the SH Figuarts Tien. Hope you enjoyed it. If I had to rate this figure between a 1 through 10, I'd have to give it an even 9. If you would like to know the price and where to buy this figure, I did have mine imported from Japan from Anime Export, but I know my buddy from Agelessgeeks will be getting this in stock once it releases in the US, which should be sometime this month. And don't forget, when you do buy something from Agelessgeeks.com, to enter in codename Daredevil, and you will get yourself a 5% off discount. I will put more information in the description below. And if you would like to support the channel, don't forget to subscribe and click on that notification bell. And if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, just give it a thumbs up anyway, because action figures are awesome. But thanks for watching. I will see you later. On the window in white does say SH Figuarts and TENSHINHAN. On the right side we do get some... oh, damn it. On the right we do get some images of the figure, toy animation sticker, warning, blah 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 blah. And then the bottom of the box here does have a so now for the articulation and the damn Yamcha and Santu. Anyway, there's some quick comparisons. Let's keep moving on with the rest of the review. Damn, that was a fail.
I'm sorry, Tien, but it was me that farted.